There. Welcome to Health and Horsepower. And this week, we're going to talk a little bit more about why you need fruits and vegetables for your probiotic gut health. So, many people have heard that they need to eat more fruits and vegetables. They don't really know why those fruits and vegetables are so important for your not only your overall health, but your digestion and also your gut flora balance. So, let's talk a little bit more about the digestive system. So, your digestive system is made of a very delicate balance. Inside of your stomach, you have acidity with your stomach acid, and that acidity helps to not only break down the food you ate, it untangles protein so that your body is able to better digest the nutrients from those when it gets to the intestines, and it also helps to break down calcium and iron so they can be absorbed when they get to the intestine. So once you have your food broken down in the stomach, that takes about half an hour to 45 minutes, that food then passes into an alkaline environment inside of the small intestine. Now, inside of the small intestine, you have what's called villi, which are little finger-like projections that are on the walls of the small intestine from both sides. So basically, as your food is passing through, your body absorbs nutrition around the surface area of each and every single one of those villi. And then that nutrition goes straight into your bloodstream to be utilized. After the food passes through the small intestine, it goes into the large intestine. Now, your large intestine has a bacteria balance. So that bacteria balance is most affected by whether or not you're getting enough fruits and vegetables, because that primary food source for those good bacteria is coming from indigestible fiber from fruits and vegetables, seeds, nuts, and also beans. So the food that you eat, if you're not getting enough fruits and vegetables, if you're not getting that fiber from nuts, seeds, and beans, and you're not getting that into your body, those good bacteria in your large intestine are supposed to be really literally breaking down your food and making nutrients and making vitamins and making minerals for your body are not able to flourish because they don't have anything to eat. So they tend to start dying off, and we lose the number of good bacteria that we're supposed to have in our gut. So when you start to lose those bacteria balances, you can start to see issues not only with digestion, because you're not going to be getting the right nutrition, your body and those good bacteria aren't making those vitamins and minerals. We'll also see issues where energy production can go down. And you can also see some issues with immune function, even brain function has been linked now in the research to that gut bacteria balance. So if those probiotic gut bacteria or the good bacteria inside of your large intestine are not properly balanced and are not at the higher levels, that can cause some major issues, because those bacteria are responsible for not only helping to maintain a healthy weight, they also help to improve your energy. So if those numbers start to die off, you may start to notice you're getting more fatigue. We may notice that also our immune system can start to falter. So those good bacteria actually produce natural antibiotics to help your body fight off infection, and they also boost your immunity so that your immune system can actually respond to anything going on in your body for repair or fighting off of infection. Those same beneficial bacteria also help to make sure that things are moving through smoothly through your intestines. So if you're having issues where we don't have enough good bacteria, some of the feces can actually become impacted, start to stretch the walls of the large intestine, and we can start to get all sorts of health issues, everything from diverticulitis to megacolon to issues with constipation, even hemorrhoids too, can come from that same issue. The other thing that's really important to understand is with that good bacteria balance, if that bacteria balance is not where it needs to be, that can also increase your risk factor for heart disease, for cancers, for diabetes, for issues with gallstones and kidney stones, because your body is not processing minerals and nutrients through your system properly. And that can cause, again, not only pathology in the intestines, but also affecting other organ systems. So one of the most important things to realize is a lot of people don't tend to have enough of those good beneficial bacteria inside of their intestines. Part of that is due to diet, but a lot of that is also due to lifestyle factors. So if we have high stress levels, we'll see some of those numbers of our good bacteria start to drop. Stress tends to cause hormone imbalance that can affect the bacteria balance in our gut. Also, if we're taking in a lot of processed or fatty foods, that can also cause those numbers to drop. If you tend to partake in alcohol, obviously mild to moderate intake is okay, but if you already have low numbers, that alcohol can actually dip those numbers even further. Another thing to realize is medications, especially birth control or medications that tend to affect your hormones, as well as medications that tend to, number one, either interfere with inflammation or pain factors. Those actually have been shown to, and actually a lot of other medications, but the biggest ones are going to be birth control, hormonal medications and also medications that help with pain relief or reduce immune sensitivity. So like immunosuppressant type medications and also environmental toxins. So a lot of things can actually reduce the numbers of those good bacteria. But the thing you have to realize is adding in a probiotic just by itself, that's not the way to fix this issue. Because number one, if you're adding in a probiotic and it doesn't have a good environment, it's not going to flourish. If you're adding in a probiotic and you don't add a food source in with it, it's not going to flourish there. So if you already have health issues or digestive issues, so say for example, you have heartburn or stomach pain within maybe half an hour to 45 minutes after you eat, that can indicate that your stomach is either A, not producing strong enough acid to break down your food, or sometimes the mucus layer that surrounds the inside of your stomach may not be thick enough to protect the stomach, and that can cause a lot of health issues for you. If you have issues, say maybe an hour or so after you eat, or even if you're having issues further on down, like a day or so later in the digestive system with everything from bloating or pain, or if you're noticing that you're having issues with transit time, so either too quickly with diarrhea or constipation where it takes days and sometimes you have constipation kind of intermittently, those are signs that the intestines maybe don't have the proper bacteria balance or the proper nerve signaling to help push things through like it's supposed to go, to make sure that that transit time is not taking too long and we're not losing water or losing some of the things that help to push that through our body system. Other thing that can also be a possibility too is if you tend to, after eating a meal, feel full for a very long time, that can also indicate that your body is not digesting things in the stomach properly. If you tend to have a lot of inflammation in your body or you tend to be sensitive to some foods, that may indicate that your body is having a delayed allergy sensitivity. So your body may be reacting to certain proteins when they start to get partially broken down after they've been eaten. So sometimes when it comes to delayed food allergies, you may have symptoms like right away after you eat it. It may be hours or up to 3 days later that you may have some of that inflammation or some of that immune response happen as that food is being digested. So typically I find if you are having digestive issues, you really need to figure out where is it starting from and where do we need to start to fix the problem? Because when you have a problem in the stomach, if you don't resolve it, it'll start kind of scaling down. We'll start to say small intestine and large intestine issues, when in reality, the problem's in the stomach. So a lot of times I'll sit down and I talk to you a little bit more about what your digestive system looks like, what types of symptoms you're having, how often, if there are certain foods, so we can figure out if we need to work on actually supporting your body or maybe even do some lab testing to figure out what's going on so that we know we're getting the actual cause, the root cause, not just the symptoms way down here. We want to fix it from the top so the whole entire system is able to heal and we don't have this issue for years and years and years and need to take medication forever. If you don't have digestive issues, but you do tend to find that you're having some of the symptoms I mentioned above are not quite working well in the digestive system, you may benefit from taking a probiotic. However, you do need to make sure you're getting enough fruits and vegetables. If you're not getting enough fruits and vegetables or you struggle with that, you may want to look into a green supplement, kind of like the Absolute Greens that we carry in our office. 1 scoop of Absolute Greens gives you your full serving of fruits and vegetables for the day. It also has some probiotics and some other digestive supportive herbals in there as well that can be really healthy for your digestive system. The other thing to really understand is you want to make sure you're getting a good probiotic. A lot of the probiotics out there on the market, so typically the ones that are having to be refrigerated, so a lot of times the bacteria you would find or the probiotics you would find inside a yogurt tends to be very sensitive to temperature change. So if it's in the fridge and you eat it, as soon as it gets in your stomach and it gets to body temperature, a lot of that dies off. Same thing if that bacteria is very sensitive to acid changes. So again, when it gets to your stomach acid, a lot of that bacteria may die off. So typically I recommend, number one, not a refrigerated probiotic because a lot of times those tend to be very sensitive to acidity changes or temperature changes, and a lot of them die off in the stomach before it has any benefit for you. I usually typically recommend staying away from chewable probiotics as well, because those chewable probiotics, again, since they're broken down, get into the stomach, a lot of strains tend to break down pretty quickly in stomach acid. So I usually like to have a capsule, not a tablet, so a capsule that is usually gelatin or a vegetarian equivalent capsule. That way it can actually get through the stomach before it starts being released. The other thing you want to be careful of is you want to make sure you have enough strains. So there's 3 primary good bacteria strains you would see inside of your intestines. You have lactobacillus, which are the bacteria that, again, are breaking down lactose, so most of your milk products, but it breaks down a lot of other things too, bifidobacterium, and then E. coli. So Typically, most probiotics are going to be very heavy on the lactobacillus and the bifidobacterium. Those are the ones that we see the most benefit, and really, those should be at the highest levels in your body. So, typically, you want to make sure you're getting a blend that has lactobacillus and bifidobacterium in them. However, you want to make sure you have at least 5 different strains. If you look on the back in the supplement panel or the nutrient facts, usually they'll list the names of those strains. So it'll say like lactobacillus something, lactobacillus something. You want to make sure there's at least 5 different strains, a mix of lactobacillus and bifidobacterium. Ideally, you want to make sure those are shelf stable. Now, some companies have done some experimenting. They are going to use some of the newer bacteria strains that have been found in the research to be really beneficial. There are also some strains out there for probiotics that are actually chemo resistant. So that means even if you're on chemotherapy, those bacteria have been known to survive those toxins and have been able to keep a foothold in the intestines. So again, make sure, number one, you're eating your fruits and vegetables. If you have a stomach issue, you want to figure out, or if you have a digestive issue, you want to figure out what do I need to do to get that under control. And you want to make sure you're getting a good probiotic that is shelf stable and has at least 5 different strains. If you're having trouble with fruits and vegetables, you may want to look into a green supplement. Like I mentioned, Absolute Greens is the one we carry in our office. That's actually on special this month as well, in the month of March. So if you stop into the office, we have that in stock. And I have some recipes, which we made on our YouTube channel last week. Those are recipes for a healthy version of the Shamrock Shake. We also have a thin mint cookie recipe and also a fruit recipe that doesn't have any mint flavor to it all if you're not a fan. So make sure you tune in and learn more about probiotics and the healthy bacteria in your body and what they are helpful for. So I did mention today mostly digestion, but like I mentioned earlier, immune system function and brain function are also very important, as well as energy. So a lot of things those help with. Tune in next week, and we'll see you next week on Health and Horsepower. Have a great rest of your day.